Kevin Durant rolling. And the Nets get the win in game one, 115-107, 29 points for KD. No James Harden, no problem. Brooklyn Nets have now won 10 of their last 11 games. Chris Miles here with Isiah Thomas and Quentin Richardson. And congrats to the Nets getting this win. Look, Q, you said it. When you saw James Harden go out in that first minute, you thought, oh, they're in trouble. Not so much.
Man, this was impressive. We were just sitting here talking before we came on to have Mike James step up the way he did. Blake Griffin, where was that at? Wow, this man came out and played amazing. And obviously KD and Kyrie did what they do. But, I mean, for them to lose James Harden in the first minute and then go on and win in this fashion, that was impressive. I did not expect it like this.
Zeke, when you look at Harden, the hamstring injury kept him out the back end of the regular season. We always asked, okay, what is this team or their big three going to be healthy through this playoff run since they only played 7 regular season games together? We get to game 6 in the postseason, and this happens.
You know, early in the season, this is one of the things that Chris we was talking about. You know, when you have to turn up to 100% intensity, Q, in the playoffs, it's hard if your body hasn't been used to that during the regular season. Yeah. And, you know, with so much intensity and adrenaline flowing in your body, you know, Harden, you know, pulling that hamstring that first play, you know, it's kind of difficult, but hopefully he can bounce back. But that was the thing you always worried about. You know, will they be healthy enough in the playoffs? And they were trying to conserve themselves. But at the same time, once the playoffs start, you have to play so hard and play with so much intensity that it's difficult for your body to absorb all that intensity and adrenaline if you haven't been practicing and playing with it.
Well, Blake Griffin certainly has whatever gas he needed to leave in that tank in Detroit, Zeke. He has it now. 18 points, 14 rebounds. His first double-double in a Nets uniform. Q, we talked about it before the game. We said, okay, Jeff Green out. Who's going to step up? They need another guy. James Harden out. Yeah. Blake Griffin was like, put me in, I'm ready.
Hey, Q, they looking for Blake on 8 Mile in Illinois right now.
Listen, that's why I'm about to tell Chris. He said he had gas left in the tank.
Detroit, they
nah,
said,
you
wait a minute.
Blake ain't got no gas, man. He on one of them new Tesla. He got the electric car. He plugged that thing in. He ready to go. I'm talking about this was impressive, man. Look at this, diving on the floor, fighting, putting his face on him. Like he getting elbowed there, and he's into it. And then he's 4 from 9 from the 3, 7 for 13 overall. This was a huge game for Blake. There you go. He hadn't had any of those in Detroit, huh?
ESPN.
Hey, Steve, first, do you have any update on James's MRI results?
I don't. I haven't heard yet.
And then secondly, I mean, what do you make of what Blake Griffin was able to do for you all tonight?
Blake was great. I mean, obviously he put up numbers, but it was just his energy and fight was outstanding. You know, it's beautiful to see him work and persevere and, you know, get an opportunity to play extended minutes tonight and was outstanding. So we knew this would be a different series for him than the Boston one. So we knew that it's just going to look different from that series. But, you know, he obviously was great tonight and his energy and fight was outstanding.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Steve, I got 2 for you. Just piggybacking off Malika's question, can you also speak to Mike James and the impact he gave you guys tonight?
Yeah, you know, that's what it's happened to us all year, right? Where something's happened, some sort of adversity, someone goes down and the next man's up. And Mike, you know, who would have thought before the game that he's going to play 30 minutes and, you know, scored the ball, rebounded, made a few plays and hustled and just great to see guys who haven't been in the rotation get an opportunity to step up and play well.
And then just defensively, you held them at 20% three-point shooting. You forced a lot of turnovers and capitalized on this. What did you like about the defense tonight?
Yeah, overall it was pretty good. You know, we did a lot of things well. You know, some of it is making or missing, but, you know, I thought our defense was good. We didn't give them too many, you know, wide open looks. You know, we weren't perfect, but we scrapped, we clawed, we fought on the boards, especially after the first quarter or part of the first quarter. we cleaned some things up as the game went on, and I was really impressed with the fight and our ability to hang in there. We had some different lineups that have very rarely played together, and we were able to hang in there.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
Steve, obviously Giannis got his points, but the job you guys did on Middleton and Holiday really made an impact. What do you attribute the good defense on those two, and was that kind of a focal point, was to take out the other guys?
No, I mean, we just want to be solid. Those guys are capable. They could have big games. It's about just the overall picture. And tonight they missed shots, but I thought we pursued, we persevered. We didn't, relax and give them freebies. We were able to make them earn it. And tonight they didn't go. They could go next game, but it's about the overall team picture and our ability to persevere and to fight and scrap and claw and not give them anything easy. And I thought that was there from start to finish tonight.
Vincent Goodwill, Yahoo Sports.
Hey, Steve, I'm just curious. What was your first initial thought when you saw James come up, lane so early in the game? And secondly, do you feel like with all the starting lineups and different permutations that you've had to deal with all year that you're better prepared to deal with such an adverse situation?
Yeah, I think so. We've had a lot thrown at us this year, so we were, in a sense, well-trained for this event. But, you never want to see that from someone like James, who's such an important player, such an incredible player, and cares so much. I'm heartbroken for him. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's playing next game, if he's out. I have no idea. But heartbroken for him that he just got to miss, that he had to miss the night. I mean, this guy was so ready and excited to play tonight. And the preparation he puts in. How much he cares about the game, how much he cares about his team. So you never want to see that when someone's, gives everything they have towards this.
Brian Mahoney, AP.
Yeah, Steve, along those lines, how do you sort of make the transition right there? I assume pretty quickly you got to figure out who's going to play, who hasn't played, and what kind of rotations are going to change there. 40 seconds into a game, how difficult a challenge was that?
That was tough. You prepare a certain way. We already had questions coming in that we were going to try to answer as we went along, and so that just threw a huge one at us. In a sense, it gave us less choice. But when you prepare for a game and he's such a big part of the game plan, that can throw you off. So I was proud of the guys that they didn't get rattled. They hung in there and got the win. But we'll have to look at it. We'll have to see how we go here and watching the film and taking a look at our rotations and our options and see what buttons we can push and persevere.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
I know your defense, a lot's been made of your defense. I'm curious what your impressions were of your perimeter defense. How much of that was you forcing them to take tough shots, or how much of that was them missing shots that they normally would make?
Well, I thought we did a good job, defending and making it difficult. They can still make those shots. They're a very capable team. But I'm proud of our guys defensively for the effort. We had some really great stretches. Second half in particular was outstanding. We have to continue to build and grow and know that we're probably going to have to weather some storms with this team. But it's about our approach. Like I said before the game, it's about being relentless with our willingness to go the extra mile and doing it together and hanging in there. And I thought tonight we did a great job. There was moments where it was tough on us and we hung in there and we came out the other side in those little pockets of the game, and that was really impressive and important for us.
Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, two for you on Blake. Number one, he only took 1 3, I believe, the entire first round, and tonight he comes out and shoots, 4 for 9 from downtown. Was that a tactical thing by you guys to emphasize for him to shoot threes? And secondly, on Blake, can you just talk about how contagious it is for him to be diving all over the floor and what that does for the group?
Well, we knew he would get looks. Boston switched everything, and he wasn't going to get any looks. But, we know that the Bucks have traditionally packed the paint and protected the rim. So he got some looks as we expected. But, the make and miss is important, of course, in its finality. But, that willingness to fight and claw and to do the dirty work has been unbelievable from Blake since he got here. His energy and toughness and his will, how much he cares, is on display, and that was impressive. And I think it definitely gave our team a big shot in the arm.
Tom Dowd, BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve, with Kyrie, he gets you 20 in the first half after you lose James, then he goes 45 minutes. What's his impact tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie was so important for us, just giving us that outlet, that person that can make a play. He's been there before. He just is such a presence on the court for us. So, he was unlucky tonight not to have a monster game. I think he had a lot of balls that were in and out, but they look good, and, those will go down for him. But, his impact, especially in that first half, was so important for us to come in at halftime on top.
Ian Begley, SNY.
Steve, I know you guys had the time late in the regular season playing without James when he was hurt. Did you go into the postseason planning it all for a scenario where he gets hurt? Did you kind of think through that at all with the staff?
No way. I wouldn't dare. That's just not the way I think you can approach it in the playoffs. You expect your best. You expect health, and if something happens, then you adapt. But I didn't envision this at all. I didn't prepare for it. But our guys have faced a lot of scenarios like this all season. So in that respect, we weren't afraid. We continued to play, and we didn't hang our heads. And I was really impressed with our perseverance under what could have been an emotional toll on us, to prepare, to get out of the first round, to prepare for a few days for this series and have, our kind of lead playmaker go down in the first minute. That could derail a team, but our guys have been through this and they hung in there and their toughness was on display.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay, thanks everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll be joined by Kevin Durant shortly. If you have a question.
Joining the podium, you heard Steve Nash say after James Harden came up with a hamstring injury, we pursued and persevered. Kevin Durant with 29 points for the Nets.
Ready? Okay, ready with Kevin.
Start off Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Hey, Kevin, two for you. One, when Blake Griffin, when Mike James, when Landry Shannon is getting up for those sorts of dunks, when the others are participating like that, how does that change or impact the potency of this team?
Yeah, I mean, we expect everybody to come out there if they play and play hard. And, tonight guys came out there with extreme focus and just tried to be aggressive on both ends, not do too much, keep the game basic, and we was able to get some stops and some scores.
When you saw James struggling, what was your initial reaction to that?
I didn't realize what had happened until he had started walking off the court. But we were supposed to run a play, and he wasn't in his spot. And then I looked at him, he was grimacing. So this shit sucks. It sucks. It sucks out because I want him to be out there. I know how much he cares. I know how much he wants to be in this moment. It sucks. I wish him a speedy recovery. We're going to keep him involved as much as possible, but, I mean, it's just a bad break.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Greg, you're muted. Kevin, sorry, it took me a minute to unmute. Just how do you gauge how this team handled the emotional blow of losing Harden? I mean, you guys still played a terrific defensive game. Just did all this adversity that you've had all season kind of prepare you for this moment?
I mean, yeah, we try not to be too emotional out there, but losing, one of your leaders like that, the first play of the game, it definitely, we had to regroup for a couple of minutes and figure out what was next. But I think the coaching staff did a great job of moving forward, and guys came in and just tried to play extremely hard. We didn't care about anything else but playing and executing the game plan and just, leaving it all out there. So, we're going to be thinking about James. We're going to be, I'm definitely going to call him when I leave here, see how he's doing. But like I said, it's just it's just a bad situation, man. I hate that it had to happen to him right now.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, Kevin. You guys forced Milwaukee into shooting 20% from three and then forced a ton of turnovers on them and capitalized on this. What'd you like about the defense tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just, really after the first quarter, offensive rebounding, I think we did a solid job on after that. I think that's what got them going and had us down like 10 in the first quarter, them getting extra possessions. And that's what they thrive on. And I know they're not going to miss that many shots, 6'30". They're not going to miss that many shots. But if we, they shot only 3 more shots than us. And when we played them before, they shoot 14, 15 more shots than us. So we just got to rebound the basketball, play extremely hard, and realize this team is a huge, long team, big team. So we got to all be in the paint, helping each other out. It's going to be a fun series.
Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
Going on, Kevin. What type of impact does Blake have on a game when he's diving all over the floor and making those plays on loose balls like he did today?
Well, I mean, when he plays like that, it just ignites the whole crowd, ignites our team. And he's diving on the floor, playing tough and big as a center. And a lot of guys have, moved down, I guess, as far as like guarding bigger players in this series. So Blake is one of those guys that's been battling all series. And I mean, it's all playoffs, and then the first game, played 35 minutes and grind like that. Very promising start to the series. But we got our work cut out for us. We got a long ways to go.
Ryan Mahoney with AP.
Hey, Kevin, it looked like when you picked up your 4th foul, about a minute and a half left in the third quarter, you kind of waved right away to Steve that you didn't want to come off the floor. Why did you want to stay in that moment? And then you scored, I think, 7 in a row right there. How much of an important stretch was that to get you guys going to the final quarter?
Yeah, I thought it was an important stretch. There was only a minute to go, and I've been in the league for too long. So if I had got my 5th foul, that would have just been a lack of IQ. So I just tried to play smart and realized that we needed to score some baskets going into the 4th. And I was able to get some free throws, a nice little three-pointer at the end. So I just got to play smarter next game. The 2 fouls I got in the third quarter, I just got to be better.
Vincent Goodwill, Yahoo Sports.
KD, injuries have been such a big story this year in the playoffs all the way around, even before James' situation tonight. I mean, when you're preparing and you're looking around the league and everything else, like, does that come into your mind? Do you try to keep all that stuff out? Like, how do you mentally prepare and not let the possibilities of the negative stuff like that come into play?
I mean, that's just a life lesson. You focus on what you can control. That's one of those things that you can't control, like somebody get injured or what can happen in the future. I mean, we're looking around the league and seeing what's happening, but, we focus on ourselves, each of us individually. And when it's time to come together as a collective, we focus on that. So, we just control what we can control, man. And like I said, hopefully James is getting better by the minute, getting treatment by the minute, and we'll see how he feels.
Stephen Bondi, New York Daily News.
Hey, Kevin, were you able to talk to James Harden at all?
No.
Can you relay how he might be feeling, mentally with the injury and how he looked?
I wouldn't talk for James even if I did talk to him, especially to you, Stefan. So, I didn't talk to him.
Ian O'Connor, New York Post.
Yeah, Kevin, I know you don't want to think of James being out for an extended period of time, but if you do have to go the rest of the series without him, how confident are you that you still have enough to prevail in the series?
I'm not even thinking like that. I'm taking it a day at a time, a second at a time, get ready for practice tomorrow. Like, we're not really thinking that far, we're just trying to take it a game at a time. We'll see what happens.
Thanks for your time, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Kyrie Irving, 20 in the first half, double of the playoffs, 4 threes, the most of these made in the game in a Nets uniform, and it came when his team needed it most, getting the win in game 1 of this second round playoff series against the Bucks.
All right, ready.
Start off with Alex Schiffer from The Athletic.
Hey, Blake, I think you guys had 7 different players with multiple assists tonight. Just given James being out and his impact on the playmaking, just what'd you make of the way you guys were able to create for each other by committee?
I thought we did a good job. I mean, that initial, I don't know, for lack of a better word, shock of him kind of being out so quickly. I thought we kept our head, we kept our head above water. And then once we settled down, I thought everybody did a good job. But I mean, we've unfortunately had a lot of practice. I had a lot of experience at playing with guys out all year. So it was kind of fortunate that we knew exactly what to do and guys stepped up.
To follow up real quick, were you able to see what happened to James?
No, I didn't really see it at all. I didn't see it at all.
Blake Andrews, ESPN.
Like, just given the conversations that we've had over the past couple of months on where you were, struggling with injuries years ago, to have a performance like this, to walk up the floor, to have Barclays Center standing up, giving you a standing ovation. I mean, what was that moment like for you?
It felt good. I mean, I've sort of talked about it, but for 2 years, I kind of I didn't hear much positivity, and probably rightfully so. But it's pretty crazy how quickly it happens. So I'm just thankful for this chance and the opportunity.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Blake, when James goes out like that, do you think to yourself, okay, somebody has to step up right here, and did you kind of take it upon yourself consciously to make that kind of effort?
Yeah. I mean, anytime we lose a player, somebody has to step up. But it was collective. We said that in the huddle. We'll be all right. We got to step up, everybody. So I had a feeling coming in this series a little different than last series. The different defensive schemes and a little bit more opportunity. Obviously a bigger team, so playing a little bit more minutes. So everybody puts in the work every single day. Everybody stays ready. Everybody that played tonight had a pretty big impact. So I'm proud of everybody.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Hey, Blake, this is twofold. One, I'm curious, what was your impression of your defense, particularly your guys' perimeter defense, holding them to 6 for 30? And on the other end, Boston obviously switched everything. This team didn't switch as much, went back to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at that? I mean, they've switched a lot more this season than they did last season. So were you surprised at the way they were playing?
I thought we did a good job, defending the three. I mean, they got some looks that they just didn't hit. But I thought we also did a good job. I think there's always room for improvement. That's just sort of like the player in me. But I honestly wasn't surprised they didn't switch. The previous 2 times we played them when I was with the team, when I was here, when we played them back to back, they weren't really switching much. They were kind of doing the same thing. So that was kind of what we expected. So we'll see how they come out next game.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
What's going on, Blake? I'm just curious, was there a point in your career where you realized that, okay, well, scoring 25 or 30 points and getting 10 or 12 rebounds a game is cool, but making those hustle plays and fighting for those 50-50 balls can actually be the difference in winning a game?
You said, was there a point when I realized that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think when I was coming to this team, one of the things I felt like I could bring was like some physicality and some plays like that. When you have a team as dynamic as this team with 3 scorers who can kind of score from anywhere, Joe, who also just takes, seems like every shot he shoots is going in. I feel like you kind of have to fill those holes somewhere, and like what Bruce Brown has done for the team all year long is huge. And I was watching that, and I felt like that's another hole that could be filled. So, like I've been saying at this point, being a part of something bigger than yourself and trying to win is takes precedence. So you do whatever it takes.
Thanks for your time, Blake.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, everyone. That is it for tonight. We will talk to you soon.
So double of the playoffs, 4 threes, the most of these made in the game in a Nets uniform, and it came when his team needed it most, getting the win in Game 1 of this second round playoff series against the Bucks.
All right, ready. Start off with Alex Schiffer from The Athletic.
Hey, Blake, I think you guys had 7 different players with multiple assists tonight. Just given James being out and his impact on the playmaking, just what'd you make of the way you guys were able to create for each other by committee?
I thought we did a good job. I mean, that initial, I don't know, for lack of a better word, shock of him kind of being out so quickly. I thought we kept our head, we kept our head above water. And then once we settled down, I thought everybody did a good job. But I mean, we've unfortunately had a lot of practice. I had a lot of experience at playing with guys out all year. So it was kind of fortunate that we knew exactly what to do and guys stepped up.
To follow up real quick, were you able to see what happened to James?
No, I didn't really see it at all. I didn't see it at all.
Blake Andrews, ESPN.
Like, just given the conversations that we've had over the past couple of months on where you were, struggling with injuries years ago, to have a performance like this, to walk up the floor, to have Barclays Center standing up, giving you a standing ovation. I mean, what was that moment like for you?
It felt good. I mean, I've sort of talked about it, but for 2 years, I kind of I didn't hear much positivity, and probably rightfully so. But it's pretty crazy how quickly it happens. So I'm just thankful for this chance and the opportunity.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Blake, when James goes out like that, do you think to yourself, okay, somebody has to step up right here, and did you kind of take it upon yourself consciously to make that kind of effort?
Yeah. I mean, anytime we lose a player, somebody has to step up. But it was collective. We said that in the huddle. We'll be all right. We got to step up, everybody. So I had a feeling coming in this series a little different than last series. The different defensive schemes and a little bit more opportunity. Obviously a bigger team, so playing a little bit more minutes. So everybody puts in the work every single day. Everybody stays ready. Everybody that played tonight had a pretty big impact. So I'm proud of everybody.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Hey, Blake, this is twofold. One, I'm curious, what was your impression of your defense, particularly your guys' perimeter defense, holding them to 6 for 30? And on the other end, Boston obviously switched everything. This team didn't switch as much, went back to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at that? I mean, they've switched a lot more this season than they did last season. So were you surprised at the way they were playing?
I thought we did a good job, defending the 3. I mean, they got some looks that they just didn't hit. But I thought we also did a good job. I think there's always room for improvement. That's just sort of like the player in me. But I honestly wasn't surprised they didn't switch. The previous 2 times we played them when I was with the team, when I was here, when we played them back to back, they weren't really switching much. They were kind of doing the same thing. So that was kind of what we expected. So we'll see how they come out next game.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
What's going on, Blake? I'm just curious, was there a point in your career where you realized that, okay, well, scoring 25 or 30 points and getting 10 or 12 rebounds a game is cool, but making those hustle plays and fighting for those 50-50 balls can actually be the difference in winning a game?
You said, was there a point when I realized that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was coming to this team, one of the things I felt like I could bring was like some physicality and some plays like that. When you have a team as dynamic as this team with 3 scorers who can kind of score from anywhere, Joe, who also just takes, seems like every shot he shoots is going in. I feel like you kind of have to fill those holes somewhere, and like what Bruce Brown has done for the team all year long is huge. And I was watching that, and I felt like that's another hole that could be filled. So, like I've been saying at this point, being a part of something bigger than yourself and trying to win is takes precedence. So you do whatever it takes.
Thanks for your time, Blake.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, everyone. That is it for tonight. We will talk to you soon.
From outside, ice cold. Here's head coach Mike Budenholzer.
Coach, how much did the overall numbers from the three-point line impact the game tonight? And if not that, what did you feel like was the difference tonight?
Yeah, I think Griffin making a handful of threes, Harris, Mike James made a couple. Obviously, Irving and Durant are going to score. They shot it well from the three-point line, and we didn't. It's a big part of the game. We got to do both things better. We got to guard better, and we got to execute and get good shots and make shots.
Beyond the numbers, what is your overall assessment just of the job that you all did in the paint, and both offensively and defensively?
I think that at the end of the day, they outplayed us on both ends of the court, and who won the paint, who didn't. I think offensively, there's penetration that we gotta contain better, and offensively we got to finish. We finished some in the paint, but we got to finish more. And so, credit to them. They played well. We got to play better.
Eric Name. Obviously, you guys spent a week preparing for Nets team with James Harden. Just how much do you think that changed things when he goes out and then matchups are different and kind of what you're trying to do defensively?
Yeah, no, it's part of the game. It's definitely an unusual, and feel bad for Harden. But 40 seconds in, it changes. But our guys got to execute defensively regardless who's on the court, execute offensively regardless who's on the court, and we got to be better. And we'll be better Monday.
I think Chris and Drew go 6 of 23 and 7 of 19. Just what do you see from them offensively? Did you feel like they were getting to the spots that they wanted, or is there something that was left to be desired?
I'm sure we'll look at the film. My guess is it'll be a little bit of both. I think there was times when the defense, they were well defended. We got to execute better. We got to screen for them better. We got to get them better looks. And there's times when I think they had a couple good ones, and we're confident that they'll go in going forward.
I think Giannis would have ended that night with 38 minutes if he plays out the final little bit. Kyrie with 45. I think Durant would have been about 42. As you see them getting more minutes, does that change the way that you think about using Giannis or any of your other stars, or is that something that you consider between game 1 and game 2?
I think our guys, left it all on the court. They all want to play 48 minutes. So we just got to keep them, competing, keep them where they can execute. Giannis never wants to come out. Chris, Drew, but we got a deep team. We got to take advantage of it. Keep them ready, keep them fresh. But they want to be out there.
Jim Ozarski. Mike, I know you mentioned the matchups, maybe they're a little bit, but initially at least, what did you like about Giannis and Kyrie, TJ, and Kevin in terms of your matchups defensively? What kind of was the thinking there? And obviously, they kind of stuck to that a little bit throughout the rest of the game.
I think that both those guys, we tried to make it tough on them, make everything, they had to work for it. I think, lots of people guarded Irving, lots of people guarded Durant. We got to be better on those guys, but we got to be better on everybody.
All right, thanks, bud.
All right, thank you, guys.
Budenholzer said we were outplayed on both ends of the floor. We need to contain the penetration.